Well, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my channel. This is now the fourth video in the series of Mahapurush Yoga. And today it's all about Mars or Mangala. And that is why my energy is a bit high, because Mars, that's what it signifies. It signifies and relates to the highest energy. Mars itself, Mangala itself, is the highest energy. This is also one such graha wherein there are a lot of myths associated to him, and we'll try and break some of those myths as well. But this is about Ruchaka yoga, one of the Panch Mahapurush yogas, which is formed by Mangala or Mars. Mangala. So why I keep why I prefer using the name Mangala instead of Mars, because Mangala itself means auspicious. So I think this word is enough to perhaps remove all the doubts which are spread across, or which might be there in your mind around all the negativity around Mars or Mangala, and at the same time would ensure that there are a lot of positive things also associated to Mars. Okay, so this is about Ruchaka yoga. This is formed when Mangala is in any of the Kendra houses, the first house, fourth house, seventh house, or the 10th house, either in its own sign or the sign of exaltation. That means Mars is either in the sign of Aries, the sign of Scorpio, or the sign of Capricorn in any of the quadrant houses, either the first, fourth, seventh, or 10th. Okay, now Ruchaka yoga. Let's talk about the word Ruchak itself before we sort of mention and share what are the results associated to this yoga. What good things does the planet Mars do to the native? Ruchak. So Ruchak has a lot of meanings. Primarily, it means something that is very large. Okay, so we also sort of observe that people with such a yoga have a good height. Okay, if other conditions in the chart and if Lagna is in strength fulfill. Okay, this also means that the person is of a pleasing personality and is righteous, is in nature. Okay, Ruchak also is associated to something sharp. Okay, and that's what Mangala is also associated to some extent. Okay, it also associates to some kind of tonic which is acidic in nature. So it is advisable that people with this yoga in the chart, they should take care of their stomach, and Mangala itself is very high Agni, a lot of fire, so such people should drink lots of water in order to sort of balance those energies. Okay, at least 5 to 6 liters of water every day. Ruchak is also associated to a bird. Okay, and that's dove or a pigeon. So such individuals, they get to travel quite a lot as well, and they have an affinity towards traveling at the same time. This word's also associated to garland, to a golden necklace. Okay, so many things which are sort of associated to this word. So such individuals are naturally dharmic in nature. They are religious, they're spiritual, and at the same time they have love for ornaments as well. So this is an interesting, so though Mangala is sort of not directly related to ornaments, but then it is an auspicious graha. Okay, so such individuals have a fondness towards ornaments. Ruchak is also associated to a temple which has 3 terraces on the side. Okay, so it is also said that one of the good remedies of sort of to strengthen Mars and ensure that you get the good results of Mars is you should contribute in terms of helping build a temple. So that's one of the good remedies of Mars. Now let's talk about some of the results. Okay, as per the great book 300 Important Combinations by Dr. B.V. Raman and Ayurvedic text, this yoga indicates that the person is likely to have a strong physique. So, all of these Mahapurush yogas are sort of directly related to the health of the individual and the well-being of the individual. So that's quite on a positive side. And Mars being, Mars being sort of related to the whole immune system as well, and immunity. So such individuals also have a healthy immunity and a strong immunity. They're famous. They are expert in sort of everything that they're doing, because whenever you do something with high energy, you put in a lot of efforts. Okay, they also sort of are likely to either come from or be a part of a parampara, a tradition. They are likely to be well versed with ancient traditions and knowledge of Shastras and Vedas. Okay. As far as results are concerned, it is also indicated that such individuals may have a ruddy complexion. Okay, so a bit dark, tanned, sort of red complexion. Okay, they're attractive, and at the same time they are charitable. Okay, such individuals are aggressive, but they are patriotic at the same time. The individual is also likely to be either a leader at a higher position or a leader in the army. He would be a king or similar to someone who is a king. So these conditions fulfill if Mangala is placed strongly. If it is weak or afflicted, okay, are aspected by malefics such as Saturn, Rahu, and at times Sun as well, okay, then a lot of these qualities or results would minimize, okay, would not be applicable for the individual. So these are some of the things that Mars is capable of doing when it is in Kendra houses in its own sign, or the sign of exaltation, Aries, Scorpio, or the sign of Capricorn. Now, one of the things which sort of also, Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra indicates is a malefic that is there in the Kendras. Okay, does really well. A malefic who is owning the Kendra, okay, becomes sort of a good graha if it is placed in its own sign. So let's say Mars, if it's owning one of the houses which falls in Kendra as Aries or Scorpio, so and it's placed then, so it becomes a very strong and auspicious graha at the same time. Okay, now let's talk about some of the houses where Mars falls and the kind of results it is capable of giving. If Mars is placed in the first house, so a lot of energy, the whole energy is in your lagna, is in yourself, in the first house itself. So such individuals are with high energy and enthusiasm and passion. Okay, they are generally an early riser if, of course, other conditions are fulfilled. If the 12th house is not weak or afflicted, if the 12th house Lord is not afflicted, they're wealthy, they are learned in terms of Shastras, in terms of Vedas. They develop that expertise in a very short span of time. So such are some of the results which sort of Mars gives. They also say that Mars placed in the Lagna aspects the 7th house makes you a Mangalik. So I'm going to talk about it maybe a little bit in this video itself and break some myths around the whole Mangalik yoga, which sort of people call it a dosha, but it's not a dosha, it's a yoga. Okay, what happens when Mars is placed in the 4th house, forming a Ruchaka ya Raaj yoga in the 4th house? So 4th house is the house of mother, it's a house of your land, your homeland. Mars is also the Bhumi Karak, is one of the Karakas for the 4th house. So such individuals have a high probability of owning a land or multiple lands at the same time. This Mars also gives individual higher knowledge. Okay, and of course, from the academic point of view, it is good as well, because 4th house is also one of the houses that we consider for our academic and higher education. This placement sometimes also leads to renunciation. Okay, or sort of reaching the higher realm, spirituality, towards the path of moksha, because 4, 8 and 12, so 4th house is when the whole process starts. It is the first house in the moksha trine or the moksha trikon. Okay, such individuals are also charitable, or if they're not, for a better life, for building up good karmas, they should do a lot of charity towards other people, towards helping them, towards supporting them. And this is quite an excellent placement when it comes to spirituality. Okay, to sort of uplifting yourself on that path. What happens when when Mars is in the 7th house? Okay, generally, sort of, it is perceived as a negative placement, but it's not. Though Mars is in its Maran Karaka Sthana in the 7th house, so Mars becomes MKS in the 7th house. But then, if Mars is placed in its own sign or the sign of exaltation, your partner, though he or she may suffer, but then they'll go to any extent to support you. They'll go to any extent to do anything for you. So that's a blessing, but then in return they might suffer a bit. Okay, such individuals are again very passionate in nature, very high in terms of energy, because Mars is aspecting the Lagna. They have a strong physical drive and the physical energy because of the placement in the 7th house. They're also likely to be business-minded person. Okay, what if Mars is placed in the 10th house? Okay, this is also the house where Mars gains direction strength or becomes Digbali. Quite an auspicious placement, because one, you have the blessings of the Digpala Devata. Okay, secondly, Mars also gets exalted in the natural 10th house of the Kalpurusha chart. This is a place where Mars loves being, because he is the commander of the army. He is the force, the driving force, and then this is where he sort of loves to be and do all the karmic activities and the actions, and because this is the house of action, your actions in society, what you are here to do. Okay, and that's where Mars sort of loves this placement. Okay, so you're likely to be a leader in anything that you do, head of an army. Okay, this is also something which we can relate to. It has also been observed that such individuals with this Mars placement are also artistic in nature, okay, or they are a leader in anything that they are doing. Okay, but there's one thing which one should be mindful of, that if you have a high power, your responsibilities are also greater at the same time. Okay, so one should be sort of mindful of ego, and that too false ego. Okay, so if Sun is in negative condition, this placement can sort of lead to individuals making some terrible decision. So one such example is Adolf Hitler, with the same Mars placement, and the kind of decisions he's made. The rest is history. Okay, so but this is where Mars is the strongest. And this is also the strongest of the Kendra. This is also the strongest Kendra houses of them all. Okay. Now let's talk about if Mars is placed in the 1st house, 4th house, or the 7th house. It also makes a person Mangalik. Okay. It is not a dosha. It is a yoga, first of all. Why it is called Mangalik is because Mars is making a connection either by placement or by aspect with the 7th house of marriage partnership. So such individuals have high energy when it comes to relationship, when it comes to the opposite gender. They have very high energies, and at times it becomes difficult for the partner or the other individual to match these energies, to really cope up with the energies of the other person, and that's where a difference is created. Okay. Other than that, there is no harm. It does not cause any sort of harm to the individual. So it's all about balancing the energies at the soul level, physical level, and of course at the mental level as well. Okay, if that is taken care of, people have sort of long-lasting marriages as well. Of course, there are some ups and downs, but then Lord Ram had his Mangala placed in the 7th house. Of course, there were challenges, but then at the same time, he was known as Maryada Purushottam. Okay, and his wife, a loyal husband and a loyal wife. So that's what the story is all about. Okay, so loyalty certainly comes from Mars if it is placed in a good dignity. Okay, so now similar to what I have shared in other videos regarding the Pancha Mahapurush yogas, this applies well to the native if Mars is placed in strength, if it is not under malefic influence or aspect, if it is not aspected by Shani or Saturn, Rahu, or even Sun, if Sun is sort of not ruling a good house in the chart. Okay, so it can create problems, and of course such positive results may be minimized. If it receives an aspect of Jupiter, it is quite auspicious. Aspect of Venus, it is again auspicious, but depends on Venus's lordship and the house it is placed in the chart. Okay, so a lot of times I feel is that Jupiter's aspect are also misunderstood generally by people. They think that it's always positive, it's always good, but then if Jupiter aspects Mars, and let's say Jupiter rules any of the negative houses in the chart, let's say 6th house, 8th house, or 12th house, or for Taurus Lagna or for Libra Lagna, Jupiter is not an auspicious graha. It's a malefic. So in that case, it might not do that good to Mars, so that support may not be there. But otherwise, its aspect on Mars is great. It gives it good strength, okay, that it's looking for. So yes, this is all about Mars and the Ruchaka yoga. And if you're new to my channel, if you like this video, please subscribe, share it with your friends. If you wish to book a consultation with me, here's my email, feel free to write to me. In this series, we are left with one more video, which is about Mercury, one of my favorite grahas, the prince, and this is Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga, which is next in line. So I'll see you very soon. Thank you and bye-bye.